Hey Virgo, you're tuning into your April 2020 X reading. How is everyone? Hopefully, you guys had an amazing March. As you can see, the layout has changed, and in fact, a lot of changes are coming to Soul Embers, and they've come about from your likes, your views, and of course, your comments. I fine tune existing readings, and I am introducing some new ones, which I'm super excited about. Hopefully, that way I can get messages that better resonate with you guys, and the guidance is a lot more helpful. If you haven't checked out the video that I released on these changes called Changes Coming, the link is in the description box below if you're interested. Check it out. It gives you the opportunity to also weigh in and just let me know what kind of readings you'd like to see. I've already cleansed and shuffled and meditated on your energy, anything and everything you need to know about how I go about doing the readings, how energy and timing can be applied, what to do if the message doesn't resonate, the disclaimer, which has important information on the content of the channel and who it's intended for, and of course, my contact details for those of you that would like to reach out for a personal reading. It is in the description box below, so check it out. Virgo, what's going on with your ex and what brings you here? What is it that you need to know? What is it that you need to know? What is it that Virgo needs to know? What clarity do we need? What's going on? How are you feeling about your ex, Virgo? All right, I'm ready to pull some cards. Oh, and that one definitely wants to come out. And you know what? It came out so forcefully. I'm just going to pick it up. Hopefully I don't get in the way of the view of the camera, and I did. Sorry about that. So there have been what seems like a lot of heated arguments with this ex, a lot of challenges. You just feel like you're constantly coming up against resistance when it comes to this person, and a lot of conflict, both inner and verbal, I'm feeling. You're ready for a change. You're ready for something to change when it comes to your love life. Whatever situation you've been in up until this point, Virgo, it does not sit with you anymore. It doesn't. You've evolved, you've changed, you've grown in your career, you've grown spiritually, you've grown mentally, and you feel like emotionally you're still stuck in this state of stagnancy when it comes to love and romance. And you definitely have tried with this ex to really push through any transition periods, and you want to take them with you. You wanted to, or you want to take them with you on the rest of the journey, but they were just not ready to shift. They're not ready to move. Maybe they were shifting but on a different path, and so there was this energetic conflict. I'm feeling like electricity. You guys were like butting heads, and just not being able to sit down and have a conversation and come to a reasonable solution. I feel that both of you had every intention of going into the conversation and being really open-minded about it, but as soon as you jump into it, it's almost like tension would start to build, and all of a sudden you guys weren't listening to each other anymore, and you were all about being heard rather than listening, saying your part rather than trying to come up with a solution. And pardon me. And it feels like, Virgo, your patience was just running so thin. I feel that you really just wanted to go into the conversation, even though you had every intention of, trying to come up with a way to work through this. You realized in the last conversation, because I feel like there was an argument that took place that in that moment, in that heated moment, the ending came. And it may have come to a shock to both you and to your ex at the time. But what I'm getting here is that you realized when you went into this last argument that you were not ready to compromise anymore. You were not willing to compromise. You were going into this conversation and you were ready to fight for yourself and protect yourself, okay? So this is the kind of energy you're currently feeling. I don't feel that you're in communication. I feel that you're just pissed off right now. at the way this all went down. And I also feel, Virgo, that even though, yeah, you guys aren't talking, and even though you may have said things in this argument, you still feel like you don't have closure because you didn't actually get to express what you felt. So let's say you went into defense mechanism, you went into retaliation, they went into the same, you were both energetically mirroring each other, and then all of a sudden the argument starts. You say what was being felt in that moment of anger, but you didn't actually express the true emotion and why there is so much anger built up and why you've reached that point and where the disappointment comes from. Because deep down inside, as you pull back all those layers, Virgo, it comes from a space of, I love you and I wanted to make this work, but why can't we see eye to eye? And now I'm just shitted off that I can't get my message across, and no matter how loudly I yell it out, you just don't hear me. And I feel that they feel the same. So how are they feeling about you? I mean, we know how you're feeling. So these are the Virgos I'm connecting with today. Yeah. So you're definitely like retreating and you're going over the conversation. You're going over the argument, I feel. You're going over what was said. As the days go by or as the hours go by, you're starting to remember things that were said that, you know, kind of went unnoticed at that time because you were so angry and you weren't listening. So you're starting to really unpack that argument, pull it apart, analyze it, and go within and look for some answers as to what is your next move, right? Meanwhile, you know, what I'm feeling is your person definitely is not expressing emotion either. I feel that they've really, really withdrawn their energy from you as well, your ex. They're really focusing on just work. They're getting up in the morning. They're sticking to their routine. They're trying to maintain, they're trying to push their feelings aside and collaborate with in their workplace in whichever way that fits for them, and further build in that and just pour all their energy into that. They actually don't have the capacity emotionally or mentally to think this through right now. They don't want to think about it. They just want to push it aside. You've already started the process, Virgo, I feel, where you're starting to unpack it. So for example, for you, the argument happened, you have, or the anger has settled, and you're ready to start working through what's happened here and see it for what it is. Whereas your person, I feel, is not ready to do that. They're looking at, they're trying to restore balance and work a life, figure out how to build their life without you in it now. So they're trying to fill that gap from the day to day that you are no longer there. And they're doing that through work, is what I'm sensing, or through a new hobby, quite potentially. Maybe they've joined a new group that you may not be aware of, or you may be aware of. I'm not too sure. So let's have a look a little bit further into this. And I just feel that there's a lot of confusion about what they don't know. So, for example, they are in this protection mode where they don't want to feel the emotion because they're afraid of how it's going to unravel. They're afraid of how it's going to affect them. They're afraid it's going to affect them emotionally and mentally to the point where they can't function. They may start missing you. They don't want to feel those feelings right now. You know, they would rather sit in confusion about this and push it to the side and just say, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I feel. That is generally the response we have when we don't want to work through something, or we don't want to put an effort into thinking about it, right? And that's where they're currently at. But you know what? It's gnawing at them. I want you to imagine at night, it's like in the back of their head. They can't push it away for much longer. They're really, really anxious about how they're going to be about this. It's bubbling under the surface. They need to face it. They know they're going to need to face it soon. I feel that you guys may even potentially have to communicate through some sort of a social circle, quite possibly even work if that's the case. And they're really anxious about that. They're really anxious about you seeing through them and them not maintaining a cool facade. They're really trying hard, Virgo, to keep it together and hold it in and not give into this. They're still very angry, upset, and not willing to face what's happened. So at the moment, without you in their life, they're really paranoid. They just feel like they've been that something is missing. You know, that they've neglected themselves. They feel that they've neglected themselves, that they put so much energy and so much of themselves into this relationship. And now that you're not in their world anymore, they feel that they can see how much of themselves they've neglected, how much of themselves they've abandoned. And they really are trying to work out a way to rediscover themselves and find a way to fill their time. So they're looking for distractions. They're kind of they're in that transition period where they're realizing how important, let's put it this way, Virgo, they're realizing now how important you were in their life, how much of a big part you played in their life, how much they actually did care about you and do care about you, and how much of themselves they invested in you. They can see now from where they're at that they are trying so hard to control their emotion, and they're trying so hard to maintain a facade, and the only reason it's taking so much of their energy to do this is because the feelings run so deep. Okay, and those feelings that they're suppressing right now are feelings of, I've let myself down, I've neglected myself, I let myself go. I should have been looking at ways I can maintain balance in my own life, because when these things happen and a breakup occurs, it kind of leaves me feeling completely abandoned, completely lost. So this is how they're feeling right now. And without you, they feel that there is a sense of emptiness. Okay, you brought a lot of emotional fulfillment to their life. And so because you did that, that's an aspect of themselves they didn't mature in, and they neglected. And this is a lot of the part of the reason why you guys slowly started to pull away from each other, because you wanted to expand and move into a new level and grow within the relationship emotionally, and they seem to be stagnant there because you were the one that was putting in more of the emotion. There was an imbalance of reciprocation there. So they're realizing all of this stuff now, that they should have put more work into evolving themselves, putting more effort into themselves, into their own spiritual and emotional growth, because now that you're not there, they feel a massive sense of emptiness. Massive. And they're trying to suppress it because they don't know how to work through it, because they haven't matured in that area. They're still where they were, let's say 2 or 3 years ago, 1 year ago, 5 months ago. Whereas you did mature and you reached the point where you wanted to go further, expand it, right? Level up in the relationship, and that's what you were pushing for. So they're going through a very difficult time right now. They're realizing exactly where the imbalance was within themselves and what you were asking for, Virgo. And what they really want to do is they just want to really work on the things they can control. They feel they can control. For example, they want to make sure they can maintain their stability in their finances. They want to make sure they can maintain their stability in their day-to-day stuff, their routine. They feel that if they have that in place, they can slowly start to recenter, regroup, and start to think about how they want to move forward with this, because right now they feel really scattered, and so they're putting a lot of work into all the things outside of themselves that are not going to fix anything inside of themselves. Okay, that's what I'm getting. But what they really, really want is they want to start something new. What they want from you is to really take it to the next level. They want to work hard on restabilizing themselves, and they really do want a reunion, guys. I'm feeling this. They want to offer you that thing, whatever it was, Virgo, that you were asking for. They really want to give that to you, but they realize that they've come up short at the moment and that there's work that needs to be done. They're still very angry. I don't feel that they feel that this is the end. I just feel that what they're thinking is you guys had a massive argument, and you both said things that were hurtful at the time and made a decision in the heat of the moment. Okay, but they're realizing that they definitely need to do some work before they can offer you this new beginning. Okay, so they may choose to not communicate and withdraw to work on themselves so that they can come in with what you need in a more stable way. You are definitely not reaching out to them. I'm so getting that. You're like, no, thank you. I can't do anything else. I'm going to rip their head off at this stage, right? And so they're trying to figure out how they're going to restore balance in this, where they need to put in the work. They're just resetting. They're trying to reset their inner compass before they can come in. So for the month of April, guys, that's what I see them doing. I see them focusing on, repairing themselves, seeing where the gaps lie within themselves before they come towards you and offer you what it is that you want to be offered, because I feel that you're not going to accept their offer, and they know that, unless it is something different to what they have been giving you up until this point. They don't have a lot of string. That's what I'm getting. They don't have a lot of string left to play with when it comes to you. Maybe this is something that's repeating for you guys. So what are they going to do about it? What are they going to do about it in the month of April? What's going on in the month of April? What are they going to do about it? Yep, they're going to start. Guys, they're moving. They're moving. They're not going to stay. They're not going to stay. They're in action. This is what I'm getting. You've gone within. You've started unpacking emotionally. You may have retreated and not taking any action on anything on the outside world. What they're doing is they're doing the opposite to you. They are in action from the outside world, and then they're going to start working within. This is where I get this conflict comes from, right? That's exactly what I get. The conflict that you guys have is that you both come from two separate angles. So this is what I'm guided to tell you for the month of April, Virgo. They're working on understanding what weighs this relationship down and prevents you guys from moving forward. You understand what weighs it down and prevents it from moving forward as far as you're concerned. They're yet to understand what part they play in that and how they can come in and offer. Okay? They also want to build their personal power and their self-worth and come in and tell you what they want. That's what they're working through right now. As they start to work through whatever it is that they feel is holding this relationship back, they're also, meanwhile, they're working on everything else around them to maintain the stability in their day-to-day life and that routine. Okay, but they're moving. They're constantly moving. They're not ready to retreat as you are and actually work through the emotion and unpack the emotion just yet. So in the month of April, they'll be working very hard on the outside things that gives them peace and harmony and stability, so then they can feel that they're not in this protective mode, that they don't need to protect their heart and their spirit, so they can slowly sit down and start to unpack it. That's how they feel safe. And meanwhile, you will do the opposite. You'll go within, unpack it, and because that's how you feel safe before you can move into the outer world, right? And work through it on the outside. I hope it's making sense, guys. Eventually, I see you guys will kind of come together, but the problem still lies with the fact that you are both wanting the same kind of result, let's say, yet you're both working very differently. So this person is still doing, your ex is still doing what they've always done, and you are still doing what you've always done. So how are you guys going to come together? Is it going to be an impasse? Are you guys going to agree to disagree? Somehow there needs to be some thought put into, as you work through this process in the month of April, how you can meet this person halfway, if that's something you're willing to do, or understanding how this person operates and them understanding how you operate. That is what I'm feeling here. So do we have any further guidance for my beautiful Virgo for the month of April on how you can work through this space? And you know what, guys, you might find that you don't want to get back together. Some of you, I feel that you're not willing to put in any more than what you have, and you're ready to find someone that is mature enough, that has gone through all of this and settle down, because guess what? You're in a position where you've been through this, you've tried to help this person and support them and lift them and align with what you want out of a partner. But if they're not aligning, I guess you've had enough. It's reached that point where you can't support them anymore, and you need to let them go so that they can experience their journey at their own pace, right? So some of you may decide to take up an offer, what I'm feeling, of someone else, because I do see that for those of you that are interested, there is a potential of someone else that encompasses all the things that you're looking for, right? And then for those of you that want to get back together with your ex, again, they are working towards this process. I can see that. Are you willing to wait for them to do that? Even if you're not with them, guys, I'm talking about energetically. Are you willing to wait for them? They are very confused. They want to settle down. They want to offer you this brand new beginning, a very promising brand new beginning, and nurture you and give you the loyalty and the commitment and the continuous growth in the future. But they're confused about how they're going to do that. They can see the result they want, but they don't know how to get there. So what will you do? So in the month of April, maybe put some thought into where you stand with this person, whether you're willing to energetically let them go, because you may be saying, I'm not getting back together with them, I don't want them, I'm angry and I've had enough. But think about energetically what you're doing. That's what I'm getting. And if there needs to be some work done on understanding that they're not aligning with you and it's time to energetically release them, and put up that, what's it called? Oh dear, what's it called? Oh, it's just left my mind. Anyway, energetically tap out of their energy completely. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyhow, Virgo, I hope you found that helpful. As always, please do comment below, because I love reading your comments and it helps me better connect with your energy, guys. I hope you have an amazing month, and I'll see you for your May 2020 X reading. Bye, Virgo.